All right. Again, yesterday was, a tough day with film review over another tough fought, close loss. I mean, that's really the third one on essentially the last play of the game that we've had this year. I think it speaks volumes about our kids' resiliency and their belief in what they're trying to go get accomplished, that they keep coming back and battling their tails off. Certainly there's room for improvement. We ran the ball better than we've run it all year. We made some plays in special teams, and we probably played our worst game defensively. We did play our worst game defensively, but our guys keep doing everything they can to give us a chance to win. Taking care of the football. You're making some plays on special teams, but just 3 times we've really failed to get over the hump. So, tremendous challenge this week. We're going to go on the road to Georgia Tech. Explosive offense with really good skill players and kind of a unique defense that can certainly cause problems. So, we're looking forward to that challenge.
All right, questions?
Justin, when you have close losses like this, like one loss maybe would be sort of easy to come back from, do you worry about the accumulation with this team and 3 where
recording
it
in progress
gets to the team at a certain point?
Yeah, certainly. I feel good about our guys, though. But to say that never crosses your mind would be less than truthful. When you play 3 games that are so close and so tight, that are, come down to the wire, on both sides of the ball, on offense or on defense, you certainly think about it, and that's why I think it's a testament to our young people and their resiliency and their toughness and dedication to each other.
With Jermaine Waller, do you feel like you might have to shut him down for a couple weeks to just kind of fully get him healthy, or what's his status kind of going
I
forward?
don't know. I think it'll be day to day.
And then with the running game, did you guys delay kind of the mesh point a little bit at times on Saturday? It seemed like that you guys were waiting for things to unfold a little bit, or
No.
And looking at the depth at the defensive line, feel like if you had another player or 2 might be stronger in the second half. Do you feel like those guys are getting tired kind of? I know Barno played almost like 60 snaps or something. Do you feel like that they're getting tired in the second half?
I felt like we played. Let me backtrack. Would we like more of them? Sure. So yes would be the answer. I think our guys, it is a place that we have rotated guys through, though. It's probably the one place on defense we've rotated the most amount of guys. So, losing Mahmoudi as a filling guy and Philpott before the season really got underway or in fall camp, obviously hurt our depth a little bit there inside. But I've been pleased. Cole Nelson's somebody that continues to come on. I think the coaches on the defensive side are feeling more and more comfortable with him playing for a young player. So.
Over the past couple of weeks, one of the talking points offensively has been the offensive line getting a push to create holes to run the ball. You guys did that really, really well. Best running game so far this season. What impressed you looking back at the film about the offensive line performance up front?
Well, I think there's probably a lot that goes into that. It's probably more complicated than I'll actually try and make it in this answer. But I thought, it was a combination of several things. Syracuse is a movement-based defense, and that can often cause you to become passive. And I thought we kept our aggression in terms of rolling off the ball. I thought Malachi was different in there. And then I thought our tight ends played well. We covered up some edges there. in 12 personnel, and those guys I think certainly help. So kind of boil it down to I think those three things, amongst probably several others.
With Dorian was some coverage on that last touchdown. Did you have to? I know you've talked about his resiliency and his sort of comeback attitude when he's let it play out. Did you talk to him at all about that? And kind of what was
Well, I
his
think
reaction?
the biggest thing was that we were supposed to check the coverage. We didn't get it checked, so we were not in the coverage that we wanted to be in. That the coaches had made the adjustment or gotten coached up to get done. So I mean that was the biggest takeaway from that.
All right, let's go to David Teal on Zoom.
Justin, you mentioned you'd be crazy not to be concerned about the accumulation of 3 defeats like you've had there late. Your first team at Memphis lost its first 3 games, I think, by a total of 10 points. I don't know how close they were in the last minute, but did that team show you something, or did you learn anything about keeping going and not letting those linger, even back then as a rookie head coach?
Yeah, I mean those teams are different. We weren't nearly as competitive when we started as we have been in these games. So it's a little bit different deal. Obviously, our expectation level is much higher here. Not just year in and year out, but with this group of kids. So it's a little bit different circumstances. That group, whatever that was, 10 years ago, they were incredibly resilient. We had great leadership, and they had little or no success really ever. But we had a core group of really good kids that kept it together. And then I think we have the same makeup in terms of that here. I think we have a great group of young people that deeply care about Virginia Tech and deeply, maybe more importantly, care about each other. And, they have strained and held on tight and done everything that they can to try to get rewarded for their effort. And we've come up a little bit short 3 times. And, we're asking them to continue to hold and strain, knowing that the rewards are coming. And, hopefully we've got a chance to get rewarded this week.
I'm sure you don't spend much time, if any, on social media during the season, but Josh just had a one-word tweet the other day. Sorry. And the response from fans was interesting. They all were reaching out and telling him to keep plugging and such. I wondered if you had seen that, and if so, what your reaction was to it.
Who? I didn't hear you.
Josh Fuga.
Fuga.
Oh, Fuga, what did he tweet? I'm sorry.
He just tweeted sorry after the game.
Oh, no, I didn't know anything about that. Fuga is an emotional young man. I think in all his time here, he hasn't ended up on one negative list. One of those guys that, when he was a young player, was in study hall every single time he was supposed to be in study hall, was always on time, brings energy to others, is an energy, I guess to steal lines from the book, an energy giver. He's just that person. And I think he's indicative of our entire team, that it is important to him. It's incredibly important to them. It's important to each other, and they really, really want to do well.
And then one more question. You mentioned special teams the other day. That kickoff return that you allowed after your last touchdown was the longest you've allowed ever as a head coach. What happened on that play, and did you just feel it almost like a buzzkill? You've just gone up 9 points, and then bam, they're on the 50.
Well, from a technical standpoint, we fit the return well, spilled it to the player that we want to spill it to, and there was too much space. So he left himself in a really difficult situation. Instead of closing that space and reducing error, he was a little bit too far behind the spill, which means making the ball bounce to the sideline. So it bounced to the sideline just like we wanted to, and we were there. There was just too much space, and we missed the tackle. You know, I mean, in a nutshell, I mean, obviously there's 22 people on the field and all that sort of stuff, but in a nutshell, it was really disappointing. I mean, we have been as good. Like you said, I don't ever remember a ball getting past the 50 in going on 11 years as a head coach, and maybe it has before, but I don't remember it. And just our confidence in that unit has just been sky high for a long, long time. And it was disappointing that the finer detail that we did not execute, which is taking air out of the return, and it ultimately cost us.
Mike Barber?
Hey, Justin, a couple for you. You've had other moments in your tenure at Tech where it seemed like things were down and the team was down, and you praised the leadership. I'm curious, though, are there certain guys that seem to rise up in your locker room more when the times are tough? You know, in other words, maybe they step up their leadership in the moments where it's kind of bleak.
Well, I think, you know, there's a lot of guys, and this is not unique to football. This is probably in anything in business or your private life. You know, there's a lot of guys that can pound their chest and wave the pom poms when things are going well and talk about what great leaders they are. But you know, leading is difficult, and you know, when we're truly tested, you know, it will reveal who you are. And we have seen inside a bunch of these guys and who they really are, and it's pretty impressive, quite honestly. And so certainly when those times come, that's when you call on those guys the most, and it's the hardest for them, but that's when you need them the most.
Anybody you would name or single out, or a couple that really step up in those moments?
Oh, it's the guys that you all know about. You know, I mean, it's the same guys that are captains. It's the same guys that you all would all list that are always there.
One technical question on Georgia Tech. Coach Collins has been known for being pretty heavy with the blitz, exotic with the blitz in terms of how often they bring it, where they bring it from. It seemed like they dialed it back against Virginia, maybe because of the passing attack there. But what are some of the characteristics of what you've seen from them defensively? Well,
we didn't play them last year. The last time we played them was 2 years ago, and they've been dramatically different. Philosophically, schematically, however you want to put it, kind of into this 3-5 kind of genre of defense now that I think Virginia's playing some of, that you're seeing. I think maybe Iowa State was maybe one of the first teams that started to play it, so on and so forth. But so they've changed a little bit, so it's a little bit different than the last time we played them. You know, I don't think that they're certainly not scared to bring pressure. I mean, I think that'll be something that you know, we'll certainly have to be ready for. You know, playing Virginia last week is everybody's unique from week to week, but I mean, they make a concerted effort to throw the ball quite a bit, so that changes. As you can imagine, that probably changed Georgia Tech's approach a little bit.
Thank you.
Hank?
Hey, Justin. I know you talked about the team being really together and stuff. Is there ever a time, and would this be a time where it's kind of good to be getting out of town to kind of highlight that us against the world kind of mentality?
Well, we're going to get plenty of work at getting out of town here for the next several weeks, so we'll see. I don't know. Usually there's just a little back and forth as you go through the season, and we obviously don't have that. So, there is a little bit of escapism when you go, on the road to go. There's just less ticket requests. There's less family members in town. There's just less other things going on, and sometimes getting away can be good for you.
Have you seen any indication from your guys that they're feeling beaten down at all?
Well, the indication I've gotten is that we're really disappointed that we've lost 3 games in the last play of the game. So I don't know about beaten down or whatever all that means. I just know, it's disappointing, and we've got another opportunity this week.